What's up everybody, Rick here, and today we are starting my series of previews slash prediction on the different press event and digital events that are going to be happening at and around E3. Starting today, all throughout the weeks, I will be talking about what I think will happen in some of these conferences and also just discussing generally what happened last year and what could happen this year and how the show is evolving. Today we're starting with the PC gaming show, kind of funny showcase, Devolver Digital Press Conference, and the VR showcase. So first of all, I want to talk about the PC gaming show, which is going into its 5th year at E3. Can you believe it? It's already been 5 years. This year, the PC gaming show will be on June 10th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. First of all, we can expect it to be fairly long, about 2 hours. That's the runtime that they've had before. They've gone over 2 hours in previous years, but I think it'll be about 2 hours this time. First of all, I wanted to go back to last year and talk a little bit about what happened last year, because it might have an influence, a big influence in my opinion, on what's gonna happen this year at the PC gaming event. First of all, when you watch last year's show, you can see that there was one trend that was pretty strong throughout, and it was the Battle Royale trend. Battle Royale was at maybe its top last year with the Fortnite and PUBG going at it, both of them, and every big games announcing their own Battle Royale. It was the case for Battlefield, and it was the case for Call of Duty.
You'll get something I know a lot of you have been asking for.
It's Royale.
So last year at the PC gaming show, we had 3 Battle Royale reveal. First of which was Maverick Proving Ground. Was a Battle Royale that looked a lot like PUBG, but with 1,000 player. That's what they were saying. They would have 1,000 player. It's still set for 2019. It's not out yet, so we could be seeing it again this year at the PC gaming event. Another Battle Royale that they had was Realm Royale, which this one, the previous one looked like PUBG, this one looked like Fortnite. And it came out, actually it was already out when the show was going on last year, so in June in 2018. And the third of these Battle Royale was probably the most unique one, was a top-down asymmetric Battle Royale in 2D called Raptor Reject. I remember looking at the trailer, I thought it was kind of funny. And this one came out in November 2018 to, again, okay reviews. I don't think this year we'll get as many Battle Royale. I think the trend is starting to slow down, Sure, we got Apex that came out and was really big, but that slowed down really fast. Fortnite is still huge, but it doesn't make the headlines every day anymore. It doesn't mean that it's not huge. It just means that it's slowly getting out of public consciousness. It's just a thing that is there now, And so I don't think we'll see as many Battle Royale this year. Another few interesting games that were presented. The Forgotten City, which was set in kind of a historic setting with some supernatural element. I thought it was very interesting. I'd like to see it this year again. It's not out yet. It's set for 2019. Man-Eater, which was probably the highlight of the show. You play as a shark. They called it open world shark PG. Also, at the PC gaming show, they usually always have something related to VR. Last year they had Stormland from Insomniac Games, which is not out yet, set for 2019. So maybe we'll see it at the PC gaming show, maybe we'll see it at the VR showcase. We'll talk about that later. Sable, beautiful art styles for Sable, a game that is still not out, but I can't wait to get my hands on it. It looks just so beautiful. And Star Citizen, it's interesting when you watch last year's show, they were saying that Star Citizen has been at every PC gaming show since they started. So they were there 4 years. Will they make it a 5th time this year? I think so. Other few high caliber game that were shown, Just Cause, Overkill's The Walking Dead Final Season, and of course they finished the show with Hitman 2 last year. So they're probably going to finish the show with something big this year too, I suppose. So that was last year, but what can we expect this year? Well, PC Gamer already gave a short, not synopsis, but preview of what is to expect. First of all, Day 9 is going to be the host once again. And this year, the PC Gaming Show is sponsored by Epic Game Store. Now I can hear some of you already panicking like, oh, Epic Game Store, it's all going to be Epic Games. They responded to that in their preview saying that, to be clear, this doesn't mean that all of the games presented at the PC Gaming Show are partnered with Epic. Expect more than 20 different developers to show new trailers and make new announcements. So don't worry, we'll get stuff other than Epic Games and Epic exclusive games. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something from Epic. We're probably going to see a new Fortnite update, because if not here, then where would Fortnite have a spotlight? PlayStation is not there this year, and so it only leaves the PC Gaming Show and Xbox. And I think Xbox got a lot of their hand already, so I don't think they want to give time to Fortnite that much. If they do, it will be like just a short trailer. But at the PC gaming event that they are sponsoring, they get the opportunity probably to showcase Fortnite a bit more, and maybe some other games. They just bought the Rocket League as developers, so they might show off some Rocket League. They might show off anything else. Dauntless is doing pretty good right now, and that would be another candidate for Epic to show off at the PC gaming event. Now, there's also been a few studios and producers that have been confirmed to come to the show. So first, Annapurna Interactive, the publisher of What Remains of Edith Finch, and also of Journey on PC. I don't know what they have upcoming, but considering some of the game that they published, it might be something interesting. Chucklefish is also going to be there, developer of Wargroove and publisher of Stardew Valley. They have a game coming called Witchbrook, which is about like an RPG and a magical school. It sounded interesting reading the synopsis, so maybe they'll show that off. Digital Extreme is coming, developer of Warframe. Warframe, pretty big game, so I wouldn't be surprised if they show off anything like an expansion of the Ragejack update is pretty close, so they might show off that. Digital Uppercut will also be there. They make various indie games, so they'll probably bring one of those. I don't know which one. War Armor developer Fat Shark is going to be there. And Vermintide 2 just came out last year, so again, might be an occasion to show off some update for the game or something brand new. We don't know. Fellow Traveler, who made NeoCab, which was also presented last year, will be there this year once again. Modest Game. So they have Shrine 4 and Lost Words coming this year. So those are two games that they might show off. And Raw Fury, we were saying Sable should be shown again. Raw Fury is the publisher of Sable, so I'm sure they'll bring the game again and maybe give it a date this time, like a concrete date. And Relogic, which is the developer of Terraria, maybe they have something new to showcase or just an update for Terraria. Now, personally, let's get into my personal prediction and stuff that I want to happen at the show. First of all, 2 years ago, they teased Age of Empire and then revealed the Age of Empire HD remake, but also teased that something else would be coming. That something else ended being Age of Empire 4, which was announced at Gamescom in 2017. I want to see Age of Empire 4. I've been waiting for so long. I've been waiting for so long for them to make the announcement, and then they announced it. And now I'm waiting for them to show something, just show anything. It doesn't have to come out this year. I understand games take a long time to make, but just show me something, a trailer. Like, what direction are we going? Are we still going in the same direction that 3 was going at? Because I don't think that's that good of an idea. But, you know. And that might not be the only thing Microsoft brings up to the game, because they just announced that they're bringing Game Pass to the PC. So I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft Studio comes and talks about not only Game Pass for PC, but they also said they would be bringing a lot of their games to other PC stores, including Steam. Well, mainly Steam, and then eventually they hinted that they would go to other stores too. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come and talk about some of the games that they're bringing to Steam. And yeah, I think other than that, PC Gaming Show is a bit of a wild card, because it really depends on what the big and small developers on the PC scene have to showcase that year. And so Age of Empire 4, I don't know, maybe it's a bit too early, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see Microsoft there. Microsoft Studio will bring something, and I'm pretty sure Epic will bring something too, because they're sponsoring the show, so why not? And a lot of these already confirmed developer, we talked about what they could bring. Let's move on now. Let's move on to Devolver Digital. And what is there to say about Devolver Digital? Their press conference, like really, enjoy it, don't enjoy it, it's a joke. They're making a joke, they're making a commentary on press conference, and now it's become like a thing of its own. Like it has a storyline. Last year it ended with a to be continued where what's her name? Nina Strutter was transformed into some kind of android. So I'm sure we're gonna keep going with that storyline. It's gonna make no sense again, but they're gonna showcase a few good games because Devolver Digital again publishes a lot of good games. Katana Zero, one of the games that they published, came out this year. Really good. My Friend Pedro, also published by Devolver Digital, is set to come in June. They might showcase it, just give it a little boost, even though it's coming like pretty close to E3, but you know, it doesn't stop you from showing the game regardless. And of course, they have with From Software, Metal Wolf Chaos XD, set for 2019. Still no concrete date, so they might showcase that, or even Serious Sam 4, which they also announced, and we don't know when it is coming except for general year 2019. I want to talk about also at the same time as I talk about Devolver Digital about the kind of funny game showcase, because both of them really are bringing back the indie at E3. You know, there were a few years where Sony made an effort to bring a lot of indie games at E3, but not anymore. And this year, Sony is not even there. But in the past 2 or 3 years, they stopped showing a lot of indies. Microsoft doesn't show much indies either. And so the big place where these indies can have a voice is really Devolver's conference, and this time the kind of funny game showcase. I just realized I forgot to tell you Devolver's conference, so it's on June 9th at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Move on to kind of funny game showcase, June 10th, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. This will be their second showcase. The first one was in December, and at that time they had around 60 plus games stretched over an hour. So like that's a lot of games. That's almost like a game a minute or more. They had 4 shadow drops, so games that were released on the day of the conference, of the showcase, which was pretty cool. And like even though it was mainly indies, they had some also pretty big games there. Super Meat Ball Forever, which is an indie game but a pretty well-known one. Judgment, not indie, by Sega. The Walking Dead. ToeJam and Earl, presented by Freddie Prinze Jr., so they can even have the capacity to bring in known people there. And Anthem, they had Anthem at the Kind of Funny Game showcase, in case people don't remember. So let's not exclude the possibility that something big will be there, even though I think most of the show will mainly be indies, and they've told us that a lot of time in preparation for E3. They said like this is going to be the indie show, and so let's not expect Death Stranding to be there, but we will be seeing maybe, and I think personally, at least one big game. Maybe at the end, I know Tim Geddes really like his one more thing, you know, his hype moment, and so he would keep that for the end or for the beginning. Or both, you never know. And so I think there will be at least one thing, like one big game that you don't expect, but the crux of the show will be indie, and those can be like very interesting games. Just because it's an indie game doesn't mean we should give it less importance. We might be getting some like great gems from the Kind of Funny Game showcase. I would definitely keep an eye on it. It was already announced that Super Space Club would be there. Or as for other games, the last Shovel Knight expansion, for example, might come there. And of course, like, you can't forget that Greg has a lot of friends in the industry, and so he can easily get some games that we haven't heard about yet, and that would be a big surprise from some renowned indie developer who might have something up their sleeves. And again, I want to stress that I really like the fact that even though Devolver is mainly a joke, that Devolver and Kind of Funny are there because it brings back the indie to E3 in a bigger way than they were before, since Sony kind of dropped them. Other than that, I guess we're gonna finish with the VR showcase, which is made by Upload VR. They said they were inspired by the Kind of Fun Game Showcase to make their own event. This one focused mainly on VR. This will be the first one, so we don't have a previous year to go off of to try to see what we can expect. But from their language, they said it would be like a Nintendo Direct or a state of play, but for VR. It's a pre-recorded presentation with a bunch of new game reveals and trailers and more. They said they would have VR developers of all shape and size to talk about their latest project. So what I'm really curious is, are they gonna have stuff from PSVR or Valve Index here, like, and also Oculus? Like, are they gonna bring together all of these different VR companies into one conferences, or is it just gonna be from VR game from one company, so only Oculus VR games or only PSVR VR games? And it would be interesting if PSVR games were there, because as Sony said they wouldn't be. So through the VR showcase, they would make an appearance with some of their VR games. Some games we might see, and I think we're gonna see, first of all, Stormland. We talked about that earlier with made by Insomniac Games. Looked very interesting. Lone Echo 2. Lone Echo was a big hit for like early VR games. Defector, that we might also see, and again something from Valve Index. We don't know. Is Valve gonna put up a game finally, and it is gonna be a VR game? Who knows? So these are some of the stuff that maybe we can expect. And the VR showcase will be on June 10th, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So that was my general preview for the PC gaming show, the Kind of Fun Game Showcase, Devolver Digital Press Conference, and the VR showcase. Next time, we're going to talk about EA and Bethesda and what they might bring to the show this year. Look forward to that video tomorrow, and see you there.